for doing a job that has made the world and our country a safer place. This man murdered American citizens and terrorized thousands, if not millions of people. We should be celebrating that. And instead, we pivoted quickly to this political impeachment witch hunt type thing that is distracting from something that should have brought us together as a country.
What we know, Charlie Hurt, about the compromised, corrupt, liar Schiff running this thing, what we know, what the IG Inspector General told us about the person being Politico, it's a hearsay whistleblower. It's not even a real whistleblower. And what we know about the transcript, that the president is faithfully executing the laws of the land, isn't he? That he's asking for information about Ukrainian interference in 2016. And while the media might say it's a conspiracy theory, Joe Biden admits that he was involved in a shakedown quid pro quo, leveraging $1 billion U.S. tax dollars to get a Ukrainian prosecutor fired. And we find out, who was investigating his son with no experience in Ukraine, oil, gas, energy, that was being paid millions of dollars. If his name was Trump, I think he'd be in a lot more trouble. So this is where they're trying to take America right now.
Yeah, and quite frankly, what's really frightening about it, not only are they trying to undo the 2016 election, they're also trying to negate the 2020 election. They're trying to hijack the 2020 election. They want to do this simply because they know that they can't win because they don't have an agenda. And in fact, a colleague of mine, Stephen Dinan at the Washington Times, did an analysis and found that while Democrats have issued, I think, 56 subpoenas in this all of these ridiculous investigations, they've managed to pass just 46 bills that eventually became laws.
Unbelievable.
That right there tells you what their agenda is. They have no policy agenda. They have no agenda to help people or make America better or anything like that. Their only agenda is to go after Donald Trump and to destroy him and to undo his presidency.
Tammy, I'm really interested in your take on how it's possible the media ignores the Biden corruption, the obvious quid pro quo. The obvious, do you know anything about Ukraine oil gas? No. Why do you think you got the job? I don't know. Could it be because of your father, the second most powerful man? What would it be like in this country if the name was Trump? Donald Trump Jr., not Hunter and not Joe Biden. Donald Trump.
Well, we all know, because historically Americans have seen it, and the way that they're able to do it is they've chosen to do it. They've chosen to ignore it. And this, I think, goes across the board. One of my main points here this evening is for Americans to realize that this is not a group of people who mean well and who are just misdirected and are doing something that they just don't understand is wrong. They know what they're doing. They know that it's false. They know that it's a fraud. And the reason they know is because they've had to construct things out of whole cloth. They've had to fabricate the Russia hoax dossier. And now it appears, and depending on who the whistleblower ends up being with the discussion that is happening now, we may in fact see that this dynamic has been going on as long when it comes to planning, that elements have been involved with the same sorts of individuals that were involved earlier within this notion of this insurance policy against the president, that in order to be able to do this and for the media, look, nothing stays secret in Washington, right? But somehow they've managed to keep the whistleblower's name secret. That takes a lot of agreement and energy. And let me tell you, if the whistleblower and this entire dynamic was genuinely bad for President Trump, it would not still be a secret. The fact that they are holding it as a secret, and this is my point, tells everyone that they know that that exposure ruins this entire scheme. And that's what it is. Now, I'm all for law and order. I don't trust either party. But the fact of the matter is, what's frightening here, and you touched on it in your monologue, that this is something much larger now than a few people who are doing a bad thing. And thank God Donald Trump is the president to be able to deal with the aftermath of the shock of what we have learned over the last 2 to 3 years. And he will be reelected. The American people will see through this because we do not underestimate them and we do not underestimate the president.
Great commentary.
Sean, can I make one quick point
Tammy,
here?
Thank you. I got to run. I have bills to pay, but I wish I could. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Charlie, and thank you, Tammy. Joining us now is the executive VP of the Trump Organization, Donald Trump Jr. There's a lot to decipher here, but what I'm beginning to see is corruption, a compromised Adam Schiff, a congenital liar, now a non-whistleblower. Wow. Your reaction?
Sean, it's just a continuation. I mean, we all know that this impeachment inquiry literally started on November 9th of 2016. Whatever they could add in there to create the narrative, and honestly, the media is happily willing to sell it. They don't even pretend to be objective anymore. You saw that this weekend when al-Baghdadi, the #1 target on my father's hit list, the #1 person in ISIS, the worst human being on the face of this earth, is a mere austere religious scholar. Not a terrorist, not a rapist, not someone that throws homosexuals off of buildings. He's an austere religious scholar. But Nick Sandmann, one of the innocent 15-year-old kids from Covington Catholic, is a homegrown terrorist. The media is destroying their credibility. They're taking what little faith people had left in those institutions and totally flushing it down the toilet. You're seeing that with